What's happening, party people? What is happening? What is it? What it is? What's going on? What's going down? How's everybody doing tonight, man? As you can see, flying dolo tonight. We normally would be doing the Sim Standard podcast, but Smitty had some family things to attend to, so I decided to go ahead and just watch the blog. I thought that was probably the best thing to do, is to watch the blog and then doing my own stream here, kind of breaking down what we saw in the video and what they have here in the blog. So let me just make sure, man, everybody is on. Give me 2 seconds to make sure we're live, because I know sometimes it has a little bit of a delay. So let's make it happen, Captain. But how's everybody doing so far, man? I hope everybody's fine and well. But like I said, give me a couple seconds, man, to make sure we're streaming. I think we are. Let me share the stream out. Get some of our community up in here so we can chit chat, talk about this thing a little bit. I'm gonna be here for about an hour, if that long, however long it takes me to get through the blog, and then that's gonna be it. So hopefully less than an hour. But let me open up the stream here. 1 second, guys. Y'all gonna hear some double audio for about 2 seconds. There it is. My bad. So now that is taken care of. But yeah, man, how's everybody doing? Hope everybody's well. Hope you guys had an opportunity, man, to watch the deep dive, the gameplay deep dive that was presented by Clint Oldenburg, as well as Kralo, community manager there. And definitely interested in hearing what you guys have to say. So I'm going to say what's up and hello to a few of you guys. Then what I plan to do is just read through the entire blog. For the most part, I'll do that. And, we will discuss. I will stop in, in little pieces here and there and explain certain things that I like or dislike or what have you. And we'll go from there. But what I need you guys to do, man, if y'all can do me a favor, can somebody confirm that I sound okay? Can you guys confirm that I sound okay as far as the audio? I changed up my microphone. Didn't really get a chance to test everything the way I wanted to today. I think it's coming through great, but y'all let me know if it sounds too loud, too low. Y'all just give me that feedback really, really quick before I get it cranking. But let's say what's up to the early viewers here, early commenters. What's up to Luke, Marvin Williams, Cal Golden, JJ Walker, Builder's Life, User Hitstick, CDJ, Laquan Miller, J Brown the Niner, Chris Bryant. I see a lot of you guys, man. A lot of my Steelers followers up here from when I do my Steelers podcast. Shameless plug. But let's get to it. First and foremost, let me ask you guys this question before I start reading. Now, I'm just allowing a little bit of time to allow a few more people to get up in here. Let me ask y'all this. Did y'all see the stream? First and foremost, let me know if you saw it. And if you did see it, let me know your thoughts. Really quick, just give me your general thoughts on what was talked about. You don't really have to go into detail, because I'm going to do that. So y'all don't have to worry about, naming everything or remembering or, recalling everything. I'm going to do that. I'm going to definitely hit on the, the high notes, the things that stuck out. And I'm going to try to read the entire blog. I didn't plan on doing a bunch of reading tonight, but I guess I will. So y'all let me know that. Did y'all see it? And really, really, really quick, what was your initial thoughts of the whole presentation? You don't really have to dive into what you hate, what you love, etc. My man VA, the truth in the building. What's up, VA? That's one of my fellow league members right there, man, over at the Sim Standard. We do it big over there. We got a real league going on over there. Dominic says no franchise news. Listen, let me tell you something. That wasn't going to happen tonight anyway. Y'all know how EA segments things. It's a gameplay night. They wasn't going to talk about anything else. Look, they didn't even talk about much, really. Y'all know how they do. But also, remember who said it first. I'm not expecting any franchise changes, to be honest with you, because, again, I feel like what was shown on the initial blog where they categorized franchise, and then the only thing they talked about was face of the franchise, that's a red flag. That is a red flag if I've never seen one. Now, hopefully I'm wrong, but listen, y'all know I've been doing this thing long enough. I've been rocking with EA, with that affiliation, game changer, whatever you want to call it, since 2012. I know how things operate. No, I don't know any information about Madden 21, but I'm telling you, the way that blog came out, that was an eyesore for me when I looked at the thing and they said, we're going to talk about gameplay, franchise, etc., etc. And the only thing that they talked about that was under the franchise category was face of the franchise. That ain't a good sign. Hopefully I'm wrong, but remember who said it first. Some dope stuff. Okay. Cool Reef. Okay. Nah, you ain't late, Carl. I just started. Like I said, man, Smitty had some personal things going on tonight, man. And, really couldn't get on. And, yeah, so I'm just doing my own thing right now. Yeah, it's just me tonight, man. So, that's why I didn't title it Sim Standard Podcast. Nah, we getting anything updates. All right. So let me dive into it. It's a good crowd so far. It's about 64 of you guys in here. So let's dive into it. Let me read what my man VA said real quick though. He said it was pretty good, but expected to see some actual gameplay footage, not the same clips that they've been playing the last week or so. I'm going to agree with you with that, VA. That was a little disappointing for two reasons. First obvious reason, we already seen the trailer, and they've shown us that footage more than once. Remember, the first Sizzle trailer had that. Then the gameplay deep dive trailer had the same footage, but expanded on more of the features. And then again tonight, where they literally talk about the deep dive stuff, same footage again. So that was a little disappointing, at least from that standpoint. From the other standpoint is the fact that I still want them to go back to what they used to do some years ago. Y'all remember when they used to do the playbooks? And they used to literally break down everything that was happening and show you live footage or show you prototypes, etc., etc. I would love to see that. That hasn't happened for years. I want to say the last time they did that might have been Madden 15, maybe. And I could be wrong on that. But so those are the two reasons why I was disappointed about that. All right, man. So let's dive into what actually happened. I'm going to pull it up here and put it on the screen for y'all. So again, I'm just trying to do this really quick, man. Y'all let me know. Let me get to the gridiron notes. Give me a second, man. And y'all let me know if y'all can see it okay when I get there. So yeah, like I said, tonight is very informal. Not the Sim Standard Podcast. Not so formal. I'm not doing phone calls, anything like that. I definitely want to save that and reserve that for when Smitty is able to get back on, and we could discuss things together. So this is just me just speaking to y'all, talking to y'all one-on-one. I'm gonna read y'all the information, and then I'm gonna be up out of here. Know what I mean? Let's see. Gridiron notes. And here they are. So let me put them on screen. Let's make sure you guys can see them appropriately. Oh, no worries, Smitty. Yeah, there goes Smitty. Smitty's in the chat. So like I said, guys, Smitty, has some life things to deal with tonight. Listen, we all do, right? I've missed shows because of that. But like I said, I still wanted to have something to say. I don't have a lot of time, so I didn't want to cut me and Smitty as a collaborative effort short. There's no way we can cram all this stuff in an hour. I'm not sure if Smitty had an opportunity, and you could tell us, Smitty, but I'm not sure if Smitty had an opportunity to really watch the stream and or read the blog. So, it would have been too much to try to pull together for an hour. So no worries. Next week, Smitty and I will come back together for the Sim Standard Podcast, chop it up, and that's when we will open up the phone queue, because by that time, all of you guys would have been able to digest everything, and boom, we'll let you guys call in, and we'll hear your voice instead of reading your text. Cool? So, all right, let's go ahead and get to it, man. Let me put it up on the screen here. Give me a second. Boom! There it is. So y'all gonna see me scrolling in real time. Y'all don't need to see my chinny chin chin right there. So let me make this a little bigger. Pause. All right, let's get it, man. So the Madden NFL 21 gameplay deep dive. All the things you want to know about Madden NFL 21 gameplay deep dive. Let's get into it. Run defense. And I'm going to try my best to read the bulk of this. Some of these things I might end up reading the entire thing. But again, guys, I didn't plan to do a lot of reading tonight. So y'all got to bear with me. And by the way, here, real quick, let me just give y'all this in the chat. Here's a link to what I'm about to read. So if y'all are unsatisfied with my reading, and or my length of what I'm going to read, etc. There it is for you right there. Go have at it yourselves. All right, y'all can do that. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's go. It says run defense. Simply put, stopping the running game in Madden 20 was too difficult for most. Good to hear y'all admit that, right? Most of us understood that. VA would contest to this in the league. I'm a running fool in that game, in Madden 20. Guys have been able to contain it, so we do a pretty decent job of being able to contain it. But again, we're not exploiting the game. We play a realistic, try to play a more simulation style. So we're not going to have the same issues as like Joke winning the championship without a quarterback. That is crazy, right? So it's good to hear EA, or let's say the Madden devs, take ownership of that, which we all knew. But listen, it's a business. I understand why you don't say that during this. I get it. But I'm glad that you're admitting to it right now. All right, let me stop interrupting y'all, man. Let me get into it. For Madden 21, we aim for a more balanced run-pass ratio. So we've made some improvements to our run fits and defensive gap system with a strong emphasis on the force defender. Who is the defender responsible for setting the edge versus the run? Here's some specific improvements we've made towards the goal. It says the force defenders aligned on the line of scrimmage at the snap will use a wider angle or wider angles at the start of the play to show more anticipation and better pursuit prediction to set the edge versus outside run plays. Now, this is what I want to comment on really, really quick. I like that you're saying better pursuit, but I need to see this across the board. Because shout outs to my man, Eric Rayweather. He might be in the chat here, maybe, maybe not. But shout outs to Eric for pointing that out in his video. Pursuit angles still didn't look that good, in certain instances. And shout outs to SGO as well that said the same thing. So I'm hoping that that's going to translate, right? I hope it's not just in this specific area we're going to allow the force defenders to have better pursuit, but across the board, it's not. You understand what I'm saying? Hopefully it doesn't turn out that way. Force defenders will show more anticipation in their pursuit angles at the start of the play when facing quick hitting outside running plays, such as jet sweep, touch pass, so that they'll get in a better position to set the edge. Great. Hammer and field players. Who are the defenders in the run fit responsible for open gaps inside of the force player? They will take a wider initial pursuit angle versus outside running plays that will help them get over the top towards the outside of the formation quicker and prevent them from getting mirrored up inside by blockers and other traffic. All right. Force defenders will have a wider formation alignment in many base defensive formations, such as the 3-4, which works for me, running with my Steelers. And more plays within those base formations will have the force player aligned on the line of scrimmage instead of off the ball. Edge and force defenders will have a wider gap integrity versus heavy and wing tight end sets. New improved blocking interactions with defenders disrupting the running lanes by pushing blockers further into the backfield during engagements versus all run types. And again, guys, as I read, you're going to hear me sometimes like leave certain words out and, I kind of skim reading. Defenders will have better anticipation of the ball carrier's movement by taking smarter angles while after shedding blocks. Okay. Now that all sounds great. But the theme of this stream, at least from me and in my perspective, in case you're wondering, is always going to say, how is this going to play out? It all sounds good. I need to see this all play out like I have to do each and every year. We know how things go in the game. Sometimes things are great, sometimes they're not. But it all sounds good. I have no objection to what they're doing there. Let's move on to tackle improvements. We already know the tackle improvements. We basically know that they're going to have these location-based tackles and things like that. But it says, in addition to the upgrades to the run fits, we know how important tackling is to the run defense as well. We didn't just add the new breakdown and pylon tackles. We also made some core improvements to existing tackling systems to make the tackling more accessible and a stronger part of countering the run game. Defenders will now be much more aware when they are engaged in blocks near a ball carrier. Timeout. Can I read that again? You guys that really, really know me and really follow my videos, y'all know why I'm reading this twice. Defenders will now be much more aware when they are engaged in blocks near a ball carrier. Fam. Really? Is that not what I talk about all the time? Really? And the thing that I talk about all the time, guys, y'all probably just heard me do a video like this not too long ago. I hate the fact that when the players are engaged, right? Blocker, defender, ball carriers right here. They ain't paying no attention to the ball carrier. So let me explain to you what I mean, and hopefully what they're saying will translate to that. That should never be the case on defense in any situation, whether it's a run or a pass. For those of you guys who play football, y'all really know what I'm talking about. But for most of you who are just fans, y'all understand what I'm saying too. The defender knows where to go or who to pursue in terms of the ball because of their eyes, right? That's how they know which way they want to block shed, which way they want to rip, which way they want to try to grab and throw you. It's based off of them trying to get to the ball. So it kills me every time in Madden or any football game, because 2K had some issues with that too. It kills me that the defenders don't seem to realize that there's things going on around you. They're just stuck into their blocking animation. And here's the guy going right around him, and then all of a sudden when he gets past him, then he turns and looks. Shouldn't be like that. Side note, same reason why I was so big on reach tackles, which don't appear to be in the game anymore. But I want real reach tackles to when you are engaged, because your eyes and you know where the guy is, you're trying to get him. So that's just me on my little soapbox. I'm sorry, guys, but I might do that a few times here tonight. But I hope so. So let's just read it one more time so I can keep going with the sentence. Defenders will now be much more aware when they are engaged in blocks near a ball carrier, and they will trigger tackle attempts from these engaged blocks inside the trenches and in open field versus impact blocks. Okay, we're going to see. Hit sticks and dive tackles have been tuned to make them more accessible and functional, all of which come together with our new breakdown tackles for a more intuitive defensive experience. I have no problem with what I just read there. All right? Again, what's the theme of this? We got to see how this plays out. Point blank, period. Everything that I will read tonight will come down to how does it play on field? How balanced is it? How cheesy is it or not? So before people go off in the chat, because I'm not looking in the chat right now, I know there's going to be people that's right now in the chat, or even people who will watch this later. Oh, man, you sound like... No. It all comes down to how does this stuff translate in game? We shall see. Location-based tackles. I don't think I really need to go into this one so much. We all kind of know what they said it is. It's basically, you're understanding where you are in proximity, of first down, goal line, things like that, pylon, right? And let the record show. And I'm not going to take credit in saying we were the first to say this, but let the record show. Myself, Smitty, Azure Effect have been saying this for years, especially ever since Backbreaker came out. Y'all remember that? How Backbreaker would instinctively do that? We've been saying that for years. Right there in EA Tiburon. Yo, man, there needs to be some contextual awareness to where they know where they are on the field. Not a triggered animation, meaning a button press. I want the CPU to know, oh, it's 3rd and 1. Oh, I'm running a toss. Oh, man, I got to cut back inside because the DN got outside containment and I'm this close. I need to get the first down. We've been saying that for years. It's good to see that it's finally there. What do you know? But I don't think I need to dive into that. Let me just scan over the paragraph, man, to see if there's anything else that needs to be said that we don't, we didn't hear already. There'd be more aware of the goal line, pylon, sideline, first down marker. Okay, here's a good one. They did say this on the stream. It says, while there's not a direct button input on the stick for these tackles, and that's what I love the most. It's not a button press. Okay, so it's not, well, let me take that back. I think I would like to be able to control it also. You know what I mean? I think I would like to have the ability to control it or not, but I get it. You probably couldn't get it both ways. You just make it more contextual. That's the way it was in Backbreaker, so I can live with that. But let me read this part here. It says, while there's not a direct button input on the sticks for these tackles, they will be driven by player ratings and superstar abilities. In addition to the abilities, the defenders' tackle and awareness ratings compared to the ball carrier's vision and awareness will drive the outcome of these interactions dynamically. Dynamically. Let's say it again. Dynamically. Okay. That's what you said. We ain't gonna forget this. I'm definitely not gonna forget this article, nor am I gonna forget this stream that I'll be able to replay at any time if this stuff doesn't happen. Sidebar, what do I always say? Y'all always hear me say, from a game changer perspective, I know where the real issue is in terms of innovation, right? Whether it's gameplay, franchise, or whatever. Those at the top make the decisions. I don't hold the devs accountable for things that cannot be put in the game as far as ideas. Where I do hold the devs accountable, even though I rock with a lot of these guys, I'm cool with them, is this stuff right here that I'm looking at. Anything that you've actually put in the game, I gotta hold you accountable for how it works. And if it's broken, I gotta hold you accountable for that. So everything I'm reading here, yeah, okay, we'll see. Now here's one that really sounds really spicy. This one really caught my eye and caught my ears during the stream, but let's read it. Zone drop. I forgot I could actually highlight this stuff because you guys can see that in the stream, right? Yeah, I believe y'all can see me doing that. Zone drop coach adjustment. Let me highlight this too, man. Maybe it's easier for you guys to read along if I highlight it in blue. We're introducing a new set of coach adjustments that will allow you as a defensive player to customize the depth of your zone drops for underneath zone defenders. Let's give them a round of applause for that one real quick. Got to give them a round of applause for that, but then also I got some criticism that I got to give after I read this. Sorry, guys, that I unhighlighted it there. All right, so for zone defenders, underneath zone defenders, these coaching adjustments will give you the ability to change the drop depths of flat, hook, and curl flat zones in increments of 5 and up to a max of 30 yards from the line of scrimmage. When using these adjustments, keep in mind that all match zone logic will be disabled in all zone coverage plays while using the adjustments, including the deep zone players. Now that's interesting right there. I don't think they said that on the stream as far as it including deep zone players. That's interesting, guys. So here's the thing. We're going to see a lot, and I hope my boy NYK is in here. I'm sure he's in here. I'm going to look at the chat in a little bit. Oh, we're going to see a lot of broken coverage, guys. And it's going to be user error. It's going to be user error, and this is going to make feedback very interesting because I don't want to hear people complaining about coverage when you did that. When you don't understand what you're doing here, when you don't understand that adding 5 or 10 or 15 more yards to a drop in a certain zone coverage is going to create holes somewhere, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want you guys muddying up the feedback of us trying to give real feedback on if the zone is playing correctly or incorrectly. There's going to be a lot of people toying with this, and it's going to foul it up. Here's another side note to the higher-ups. Don't go changing nothing because people are complaining about that. Make them learn. Here's an opportunity to mirror a feature that you bring into the game with giving people insight on how it works. Don't go changing nothing because people say, people are running free. You know, they're throwing slants on me so much because you got guys that, that's supposed to be in the flats. You got them playing 15 yards back. Nah, I don't want to hear that. But I digress. Let's keep on going. Match logic will be disabled. That's interesting, as it should be. If you got somebody playing a 30-yard zone, I'm just saying, which one do you want them to do? You want them to still match players from way down there? What if the receivers don't come that far? How they gonna match the routes? So I'm not mad at that right there. Let's mark that for discussion though, because I'm interested to see how you guys feel about that one. Last little piece here says, when facing a no huddle offense, you can turn off these coaching adjustments by using the reset play option in the pre-play adjustments menu. That's good. That's good because you already know. Let's get ready for it for you guys who play in the lobby, right? Regular online. Let's get ready for people trying to exploit that by trying to no huddle you to death because they think they caught you in the wrong defense. You could actually use that as a baiting tactic as well. You could play dumb for a moment and then switch up on them when they try to gas you. But there you go. Let's keep on moving. Quarterback and passing improvements. Now this is a long, lengthy one, so let's have at it, man. Let's tackle this portion here first. Excuse me. It says, with a more balanced run game comes more reliance on the air attack. To ensure that players will have the tools they need to run more balanced offenses in Madden 21, we've made some significant improvements to throwing the football. Throwing out of sacks. We kind of already know what that means, so I can actually sum that up unless I see something that I need to read. But basically, they're basically saying that, throw accuracy and power in the pass and, is dictated largely by physics. Good thing. Good thing. I need more things to be dictated by physics, by the way. Shouldn't just be that area of the game. Like, I don't want you guys to keep doing the compartmentalizing. Like, we're going to do this year. And no. We needed to get to a point where the entire game and the entire animation base and outcome is largely dictated by the physics. Just my opinion. But it says here that, however, if at any time or any point the quarterback's arm or shoulder is hit during the pass, that too can impact the accuracy throwing out of a sack. It says throwing out of a sack does carry some risk as well. The earlier in the throwing animation the quarterback is hit in a combination with the quarterback's strength rating, the more likely he will be to fumble. I ain't mad at that. The reason why I'm not mad at any of that right there is because that sounds like, to me, physics is driving most of these outcomes, and because of the physics, depending on when you're hit, where you're hit, and how you're hit, that will determine what happens with the ball. Ball could pop out. Great. Beautiful. We got to see. We have to see. Okay, deep passing under pressure. They kind of went over that, and this was new to me, so let me read this whole thing. Deep passes under pressure. New to Madden 21 are under pressure throwing animations, which allow quarterbacks to contextually speed up their throwing motions when feeling pressure on deep passes. Throws of 40 or more yards from the spot of the pass to the landing spot. These animations are dictated by the threat to impact prediction, meaning that at the time the pass has been initiated, if the quarterback thinks he will get hit by an oncoming defender before the release of the pass, he'll use an under pressure animation. And then the quarterback's throw under pressure, the TUP rating, will modify both the power and accuracy of the pass. I'm cool with that. I think we saw an example of that in the trailer, or the little footage that they showed us, with the Baker Mayfield situation. Shout outs again to SGO that showcased this in his video. Yes, I didn't like that interception either on that play. I don't like when defenders just automatically know when to turn around. It should never be like that. If you are in man and you're trailing a guy, you might not even know the ball is thrown unless we are to assume that the other players are saying pass, which we know they do. If you're telling me that it's tied to that, okay, you shut me up. But if it's tied to just knowing that, oh, the ball has been thrown, I don't like that. That's not real. But I did like on that play that Baker Mayfield was pressured. He rolled out, got hit, tried to throw it. The ball flooded. Short interception. Beautiful. Hopefully we see more of that. Because remember, we were supposed to have some of that a few years ago, and it seemed like it slowly but surely got taken out of the game. All right, moving on. This is one, I don't think they said much about this. I don't think they did, but in case they did, my bad. Let's read it again. QB branch outs. It says QBs can now quickly branch out of the drop back to throw the ball at any time. As soon as the QB has received the snap, if a receiver button input is given, the QB will the QB will immediately branch out of his existing behavior and throw the ball to the intended receiver, which also includes branching out of play action phase. QBs will also have more control to branch out of the drop back to scramble by moving the stick towards either 45-degree angle away from the line of scrimmage, while also re-enabling the controlled rollout movement, which you can toggle by tapping R2 or RT button. Along with this change, the quick throw inaccurate from Madden 20 has been turned off. Okay? Accuracy power tuning. With the variety of improvements done to passing, we also did some tuning to improve under the pressure and cross-body passing accuracy to bring more balance for both by making the inaccurate penalties more contextually appropriate to the situation. Yes, please. Because yes, you will get inaccurate throws in Madden 20, but not nearly enough when people try to do that ridiculous roll all the way to the right, and then they try to throw it to this guy on the sideline over there. And sometimes it's boom, right on a rope. We shall see. Might as well read the rest of this, man. It says, we've added a new max distance passing power penalty, which will activate when targeting a receiver who is deeper than the quarterback's max passing distance. Okay, wait a minute now. Let me read that again. We've added a new max distance passing power penalty, which will activate when targeting a receiver who is deeper than the QB's max passing distance. Sidebar. Here's a question to the devs. Does this include people dropping back 20 yards? Sorry, competitive guys, if you're watching, I'm not picking on you, but you have to understand we're simulation-minded guys, meaning we don't think quarterbacks should be able to drop back that far and still throw the ball 60 yards down the field. I understand the argument. It's a video game. You're right, which is the reason why I don't come at you guys. A lot of times I defend you guys when you're on the stage. Because, listen, if I'm playing for some racks, 100,000 on the line, I could care less how simulation the game is. I'm going to be 100% honest with y'all. At the end of the day, it's still a game. So I don't have an issue with it being a comp mode and a sim mode, and there's more things that are more forgivable or what have you, or more matter of fact and comp. I'm cool with that. As long as each mode in the game, respects fundamental football to a degree, I'm cool. Have your comp mode and have your less penalized things, fine. That was the reason why they brought in the 3 different styles. But I hope that this is referring to if, in fact, guys do the ridiculous drop back and they drop back 20 yards, is that taken into account? So in reality, now the ball should only have good accuracy 20 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. That is the question, and that is one I am definitely going to find out. But according to what it says here, that should be the case. Right? That's what it sounds like to me, right? All right, so let me get back to it. I think I lost my place, guys. Hold on 1 second. Where was it? Was it here? Where did I see that 40-yard thing? I don't even know where I just saw that. I know I'm not crazy. I just saw it. Hold on. It should be right in here. We've added a new max distance passing power penalty, which activates when the target and receiver and max passing distance. The penalty also decreased. Where did I see the 40 yards? Am I tripping, guys? Hold on. Let's take a small break from the reading. Let me ask y'all, am I tripping? Did I see that somewhere? Did y'all hear me read that, or did I just make up that number? Somebody please answer that. I told y'all it's a lot of reading, man. I lost my place. Somebody please confirm that y'all heard me. Oh, okay, I found it. Never mind. I found it. It was up here. It was yeah. It was up there. Throwing motions when feeling. Yeah, the 40-yard thing was up there in deep passing. It wasn't related directly to this, but I think my question still applies. If it's going to affect their maximum pass distance, then if a guy's maximum pass distance, let's just use 40 yards for the sake of argument. If that's his maximum pass distance as far as good accuracy, then that means if he drops back 20, that thing only going to be accurate for 20 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. That's how I internalize that. You understand what I'm saying? So, hey, just my thoughts. Now let me get back to where I was. Where was I, guys? Where was I? Branch out. I hear the donations going off, man, so I appreciate you guys that are doing that, man. I can't see them right now. Where is it? It was somewhere here in the branch outs where I was. 45-degree angle. Okay, let me just read the accuracy thing again because I lost my place. Accuracy power tuning. With the variety of improvements done to passing, we also did some tuning to improve under pressure and cross-body passing accuracy to bring more balance of both by making inaccurate penalties more contextually appropriate to the situation. We've added a new max distance passing power penalty, which will activate when targeting a receiver who is deeper than the QB's max passing distance. The max passing distance for each QB is dictated by his throw power. Okay. This penalty will also decreases the strength of the pass when the throwing deep passes on the run, with more severe penalties to throw power for cross-body throws. Okay. And you know what that also sounds like? They're separating guys like Patrick Mahomes a little more now. That's what that sounds like to me. Enhance the in-game passing feedback text so that players will have a more transparent understanding about the result of each type of throw. Hallelujah. And only thing I hope is that text is actually a representation of what's really happening on field. I hope it's not just placebo to make us think. You know what I mean? Parity for handoff animations. All handoff animations have been tuned so that all respective handoffs are the same speed going either direction. Okay. I don't know how I feel about that one. Guys. I feel like the handoff, I mean, listen, this is getting real sim-minded, but handoff timing is probably different depending on what type. So I don't know exactly, are they talking about that minute a detail, or are they just saying in general? You know what I mean? So I don't know how to feel about that one. I don't hate it or love it. Now let's read this next paragraph. I didn't hear them say anything at all about this in the stream, and I don't know what this paragraph says, but I see what it starts off with. It says pass interference and illegal contact. And sidebar again, this one I hope they have improved, because VA, if you still in here, or any of the other guys from the stream is in here, because I posted it on our Facebook. How many times, man, have you been playing great defense? The ball is clearly overthrown. You not even trying to hit the receiver. All you do is the ball is sometimes semi-close. You input a button, whether it's to catch or swat or whatever, and you call for DPI. How many times did that happen? It just happened to me in the league game I just played the other day. Luckily, I still got the win. But I'm like, come on, man. I got my man in 3rd and 15. Lockdown defense. I have a man trailing, and I'm playing over the top. And just because I do an input, a button press, I get called for PI. Come on. Let's see what it says here. Let's see if I'm going to be happy or pissed off after I read this paragraph. We've added support for a more robust management of user-controlled pass interference, and also for the first time, a legal contact penalty. Okay, y'all talking good. Let's see. The goal with these is preventing users from initially obstructing receivers from getting to their routes and or the catch spot, while trying to overlook incidental and unintentional contact. Okay? These penalties will be used in both competitive and simulation game styles and will be called primarily on user-controlled defenders. For franchise players, these penalties can be adjusted by the penalty settings menu. Great. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. Illegal contact is an interesting one. I can't wait to see how that plays out. And if it does respect the 5 yards, etc., etc. Here's another sidebar. If you have a corner and you put him in press, and let's just say he presses too long, beyond 5 yards, they going to call it? These are little minute things I'll be looking for. We'll see. All right, man. Defensive contain balance, man. You guys y'all doing something in the chat, man. Either subscribing or donating. So let me just say sidebar. If you subscribe, thank you. If you've donated, thank you. I guess I'll read this one too. Why not? Defensive contain balance, and it says one of the more popular online strategies in Madden 20 was the contain blitz. Players told us this felt unbalanced because unblocked contain players were very effective pass rushers, but also very quick to react to scrambling QBs. So again, on the theme of balance, we've made some changes to contain behavior in Madden 21. When utilizing pass rush schemes that free up the contained player from being blocked via an overload to either side, that player will now rush the quarterback at a slower speed than if he were not in the contained assignment, as long as the QB is inside the pocket and not using scramble movement. The contained player will be moving at a speed slow enough to read the quarterback with the intent to keep him in the pocket, but will not break into a full speed rush unless the QB starts to scramble. Here's one of those times, guys, when video game meets simulation and it's hard to blur the lines. Because a counter argument to that would be, well, there's some players who can do that, right? That would be the counter argument. There's some players that are skillful enough to do that, but how do you balance it? What I'm hoping they did here, which I'm cool with, again, it's still a video game, guys, so it's all about how do you replicate things the best way. I'm cool with them doing it this way, and let's say some of these pass rush guys will have these abilities. Remember, they say there's some new abilities coming, so I'm assuming there's going to be abilities that's going to go along with a lot of these new things. So if the theme is the contained guy rushes a little slower because theoretically most guys wouldn't be able to read both at the same time, I'm cool with that. But maybe there's some guys with that skill that might be an ability that they are able to rush as fast and react as fast. Fine by me if that happens. It says this change will bring balance by giving the defense the ability to quickly react to a scrambling QB with an unblocked contained player while giving up a little power in the pass rush. Okay. I don't think I'm mad at that. Let me see how much more we got. Yeah, a little bit. So let's get the moving, man, so I can get up out of here, man. Catching responsiveness. This is an interesting one because I do not believe they talked about this in the stream. Let me highlight this, guys, so you can all see the entire thing here. Like many of our other features and improvements, Madden 21 has a strong focus on player control and agency. Catching is no different. We've made a few tweaks to our catching system to offer more stick work towards making plays. I wonder what this is before I even read it. No, I can't say that. I was about to say something, but I really can't. But I will give you guys a cliffhanger. I wonder if this is a feature that I saw that never made it to Madden 20. Let me read it and see. Players can now dictate the direction they want their catch to take them as they secure the catch via left stick input. For example, when holding up vertical on the left stick and using the possession catch, you will be able to select a possession catch that will fall in the same direction. Oh, no, this ain't what I thought it was. So let's just skip by what I said because I can't go into that. Because again, sidebar, being NDA'd for stuff sometimes, and I'll actually give you guys a nugget after I finish this. There is a feature that is in Madden 21 that was supposed to be in another Madden, and I'll tell y'all about that at the end of this. Don't let me forget that. But this ain't what I was thinking, so just Don't worry about what I was saying because I can't expound on that anyway. But anyway, let's finish reading this. So it says basically if you press up on the left stick and using the possession catch, you'll be able to select a possession catch that will fall in the same direction as your left stick input, ensuring the receiver won't go to the ground short of the sticks. I like that. How many times have we seen that? Or how about the one when they possession catch and fall with their back down and no awareness of where the ball, where the first down is, and you come up fourth and 1 or something like that. I like that. This increases control, is also critical when throwing underneath routes, as the responsiveness allows receivers to quickly turn up the field after using a rack catch. One obvious case to notice this improvement is when a receiver is nearing the sideline. The user will have the control to keep him in bounds as he turns up the field rather than running out of bounds. Okay, we shall see. Speaking of catching, guys, and this is not necessarily about catching, but it's close. I still need to see how the two-man interactions are going to play out when we're talking about DBs and wideouts. In the trailer, the first trailer, we did see 2 occasions where there was a contested, it was a SWAT. Animations look very similar to what we saw in Madden 20, but the question is, with all of this user control and such that they're advertising, the question is, how are those two-man animations going to play out? Are they still going to be drawn together? We have all seen them. Some of them actually look pretty because it's minimal warp and minimal shift, but you still lose control, so it's not a good thing. But some of them are the worst. We've all seen the one where somehow the DB and the receiver know the ball is already overthrown, and the receiver turns his back and becomes a defender before the ball even gets there. No receiver in the history of football would do that early. They would at least attempt to get the ball, and then right as the ball is coming, they realize it's short, and then they try to react. They don't turn their back to the ball and just go into a SWAT animation. That doesn't happen. And we see it a lot on deep balls. How many times have you guys gotten a one-on-one, you throw it deep downfield, and then the receiver turns into the it's just, come on, man. It's too scripted in that regard. So I hope the two-man animations are not still in the game, number one, but if they are, please significantly reduce the two-man animations, man. Take the NBA 2K approach. They did a pretty good job reducing or eliminating some of those situations in both 2K19 and 2K20. Are there still some situations? Yes, there is, but not nearly as bad as it used to be. I'm hoping Madden takes that approach. I like this one a lot too, man. Player personnel packaging. For those players who like to get creative with their formation personnel on offense, we've added a new way to use packages and formation subs while using audibles. The pre-play audibles system now considers the actual personnel on the field. When changing your personnel in the play call menu, enter via packages or formation subs, your pre-play audibles will now match the personnel package on the field. If you are using a 12 personnel in a formation like gun, empty, flex, you will be able to audible to any other formation in your playbook that also uses 12 personnel. That's dope. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. And in a way, that's kind of realistic because I know we'll say in the real world, teams don't make but so many hot routes on a play and things like that, but they do have plays to their, at their disposal. You know what I'm saying? But on one hand, some people will say that's not realistic because how many plays is the quarterback going to check to? Most of the time they probably have 2 or 3 checks in their head, but we're splitting hairs right there. I actually do like that. It might not be the most sim aspect in terms of the amount of plays, but I'm cool with that. I'm cool that you're linking it to the personnel, and I can go to any play that uses that personnel. I'm all right with that. It says for now, this feature only applies to the offense, but as it continues to evolve, we're looking for opportunities to continue to expand upon it. That has to be on the defense as well. I need that. I'm gonna just say that. I'm gonna need that on offense and defense. You know what I mean? So there you go. Balance for repeated audibles and play flips. They talked about this one in the stream, and it's very, very interesting. Let's read it. Another aspect of bringing more balance to the run and pass ratio in Madden 21 is an authentic solution for spamming audibles and play flips by offense before the snap until an advantageous alignment for a running play is found. So, people would just keep doing that until they can manipulate the AI, et cetera, et cetera. This popular tactic will now carry some risks. The offense will now have the risk of the offensive line committing a false start penalty after use of multiple audibles or play flips, and the chance of a penalty will significantly increase with each additional audible thereafter. This penalty has been put in place to simulate the confusion an offensive player would likely have if the quarterback changed the play 3 or 6 times while sitting his is what? I think that's supposed to be setting. I don't know. But I'm gonna read the words exactly how they're there on the screen. It doesn't sound right to me, but it says this will simulate the confusion an offensive player would likely have if the QB changed the play 3 to 6 times while sitting his is pre-play stance. I think it's supposed to say while sitting in his pre-play stance the entire time, and it applies to all game styles and difficulty levels. So basically, guys, what they're trying to do is simulate, like Clint said on the stream, as an offensive lineman, if the quarterback changed the play a few times, he might get confused. He might have a false start. He might be late, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what they're attempting to replicate there. I don't have a problem with that as well. The only thing that, if I'm going to put my extremely sim-minded hat on, the only thing I don't like in general, just in Madden, I'm sure other video games do similar things, in their respective sport. I don't always like it kind of feels like a Band-Aid approach. Like instead of making it a AI thing. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe if the guy is low rated, you could make it more risk if it's a low rated guy. Because you have some, players that will never jump off sides. It's not just because the quarterback changes the play 100 times, they're just not going to go. They're smart enough to be in sync with the quarterback. So I don't like when things are tied to numbers. Just like before, when, the competitive community would, debate with me sometimes about adaptive AI. And they would say, we don't like situations where if you run the same play 5 times, the defense starts to shut it down. Me neither. I don't like that. That's not real. In the real world, yes, that could happen. But also, again, shout outs to my brother Azure Fact. He hates when I bring up this comment, but a lot of us remember this. A few years back, Pittsburgh Steelers is in Tennessee. Le'Veon Bell rushed for 206 yards that night. There's a player on Tennessee that's captured. The audio is captured of him saying, it's the same play. It's the same play. We kept running the same play. Counter, 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 counter. They couldn't stop it. So, yes, it does happen in the real world, but in a video game sense, I don't want to be like, 5 times, we're going to shut you down. I don't like that. It needs to be more AI based. And of course, everything else around the players, physics and all of that should still play into who gets to stop. Not just because I've called the same play 5 times. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a quick sidebar on that. But I like what they're attempting to do. I just don't always like the approach. I wish it was more AI based. Who knows? Maybe they could take it to the next level in their next level game. We'll see. Player fatigue for out of position ball carriers. I like this one as well. Let's read it. Madden 20 was a year of the gadget play for many, but players told us that the gadget plays were too frequent and they relied on the primary source of consistent offense. In response, you'll now have to strategically manage the workload for ball carriers who are not a primary running back or risk penalties to their ratings via fatigue overuse. After a player who is not a running back by trade, such as a quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, has carried the ball as the primary ball carrier multiple consecutive plays, that player will start to quickly deplete his stamina, especially on tackles and hit sticks. I like that. Sidebar. I like the fact that the more hits you take, you start getting tired. I love that. I don't know, excuse me. I don't know if that's an actual feature across the board, but I like the fact that the more you get hit, you start wearing down. Hint, hint, side note. Hey, Clint, you know myself, and I got to give credit to Shopmaster. We've talked about progressive fatigue for years. Not just during the game, but throughout the duration of the season. The wear and tear, which was in Madden 08, head coach 09, years ago. You know how in 2K, how when you look at your player and you can see the different parts of his body has wear and tear, and what is his fatigue like? That was in EA's house years ago in head coach 09. Why that ain't in Madden? This sounds like baby steps towards that, but again, it should already be there. So I hope this is kind of, you know what I mean, pushing or nudging towards that. All right, so let's pick up where I left off. It says, basically, your stamina will be depleted, especially on tackles and hit sticks. The risk applies to non-running backs in plays like the Wildcat Power, Jet Sweep, Tosh. See, I'm getting tired, y'all. I'm tired of reading. You see, I'm mixing up words. Wildcat Power, Jet Sweep, Touch Pass, QB Blast, and as they get tired, you'll notice them become less effective on the field, regardless of their role thereafter. These players will need to be subbed out of the game if overused. If not subbed out, their play will continue to degrade as they are more tired. This system will be used on both competitive and simulation styles. With this change is a significant reduction of fumbles by scrambling QBs on all game styles except for all Madden competitive. However, as players start to get more fatigued, the likelihood of fumbling will naturally increase. Okay, because it also sounded like Clint said that the ridiculous fumbles that they had in Madden 20 is not happening. I'm cool with that, man, because listen, I'm also one of those people who campaign for saying just because it's a hit stick shouldn't mean a fumble. That's another thing that I've had discussions with some competitive guys that, you know, I won't name names with this one particular guy, but he wants all absolutes. If I land a hit stick, you're supposed to fumble. I'm like, nah, that's not real. Dudes get rocked all the time in the NFL. They don't cough the ball up. It needs to be more, fumbles to me needs to be more on fatigue and weather conditions and big hits if they're landed at the right spot. Like if I happen to hit your arm, boom, and the ball comes flying out. But just because I land a hit stick should not mean instant fumble. Just my opinion. Kicking game. Now, I don't believe they talked about this on the stream. Let's read this. Kicking game tuning. So they said, we've received feedback from players that some aspects of the kicking game were in need of some improvement. So here's a quick list of some changes that are there. Kick meter on competitive game style has been tuned to be more skill-based, meaning it will be more difficult to get accurate kicks for competitive play, and missing accuracy window will be slightly, more punitive. Kick power. Win impact has been tuned on simulation game style so that kickers and punters don't always launch unrealistically deep kicks, while the win impact on the kicking game will be less significant. Okay. Got to see how that plays out because I think the wind needs to be more impactful. It's windy. But I get what they're saying. I mean, you've seen guys kick in the wind, and it's not like the ball flutters everywhere. Some guys can do it, but that's a weird balance. I would rather see the weather conditions affect gameplay, but, maybe I'm going off on a tangent right there. When tuned ball physics, we tuned for ball physics to bring more skid to the ball on kicks bouncing on the turf to make the coffin corner kick exploits, known in the community as the scum kick, much more difficult to execute. Okay. I have no issue with that as well. All right, guys, so we got one last paragraph, and I'm going to sum up my very, very quick thoughts. I will also give you guys a nugget, and then I'm going to be out of here. So it says ability improvements. Well, I don't know if... should I read this? Why not? It's the last one, right? It's too late for me to chump out now. So basically, they recognize, I'm not going to read this part because I'll just, summarize what Clint said. They recognize that some of the abilities, or decent amount of abilities that they had, they knew they were going to be unbalanced coming into the game. They've had the opportunity to go back and refine some of these things. So the goal this year will be more balanced, so you get better gameplay with the current abilities as well as the new ones that they'll be introducing. So let's just read the 3 examples they have here. Wide receiver route ability balancing. Wide receivers had a number of abilities granting them the catching bonuses on specific route types. These abilities, while strong, were difficult to use since they required detailed knowledge of your team's playbook or very specific hot routes that might not always be available. In Madden 21, we have reworked these abilities to grant their bonuses when the receiver catches the ball in a specific area of the field, regardless of the route they are in or they are on. This allows them to accomplish the initial goal of creating receivers that excel at making plays on specific route types while making them much easier to utilize. I'm cool with that. I am cool with that because I do feel like, a specific route shouldn't always give you the boost. It should just be like if this player has certain abilities, he should be able to still get off, with all routes that are kind of along the lines of, depth and things of that nature. Now one could argue where this guy, because I'm one of those crazy people too that would love to see where you have specific types of receivers and specific defenders that are good at a certain thing. So maybe you have a receiver that runs outstanding slant routes. He gets a boost there, but maybe not in other areas. You can argue it both ways, but I think the way they are attempting to balance this here might work better for the game purpose. We'll see, but all in all, I'm just happy that they're doing some type of balancing, man, because some of the abilities did get ridiculous. Coverage defender ability. On the other side of the ball, we had the opposite issue when it comes to coverage. It says universal coverage, where essentially one-stop shops. It was too easy to pick up one of these abilities on a defender and just set it and forget it. Yeah. Ultimately, we didn't like how easy it was to make a defensive powerhouse with very little ability investment. Hey, VA, the truth, if you still in here, yeah, we got somebody in our league that thrives off of that. And they shouldn't be able to do that. Shout outs to Chris, man. Let's get back to where I was reading. As a solution to this, we have split these abilities up into multiple versions that grant their bonuses across specific areas of the field, mirroring the new wide receiver abilities. Now coverage defenders will need to specialize in defending an area of the field rather than being able to cover the whole gridiron. Damn, man. I got to throw a round of applause to that. This is a little bit of optimism in that area. Just a quick round of applause. If it works. If it works. Where was I, guys? Rather than being able to cover the whole gridiron. Additionally, universal coverage has been converted into an X Factor ability, so the idea of a powerhouse play the whole field defender can still exist. You'll just have to earn it via the X Factor objectives. Okay, so they're making it a little more difficult to build this mega star, if you will. Okay, because there are some guys who can shut down pretty much half of a field. So, we got to see how this stuff plays out. Pass lead ability balancing. The pass lead abilities from Madden 20 were fairly polarizing. They allowed you to make some impressive plays and throw receivers open in the best of circumstances, but more often than not, they could result in throwing uncatchable passes that were out of reach of your receivers. Sidebar, for any of the guys that are in my league that is listening, oh my God, with my guy Miller, I mean, my man has a 99 throw power and he has a superstar ability. This is the reason why he be airmail and stuff, and it pisses me off, man. But I guess they just explained it here. That's why it happens. All right, so they said in Madden 21 we have removed the increased leading distance of these abilities, and instead boost the ball's velocity when you're using precision passing mechanic on the left stick in combination with a bullet pass. This new benefit greatly reduces the ability for defenders to make a play on a ball when making the correct read, and should prove to be powerful perk for pocket passes. Now, the only thing that I'll have to keep my eye on and raise an eyebrow on is when it says this ability or this benefit greatly reduces the ability for defenders to make a play on the ball when making the correct read. You can argue that both ways. I guess what they're saying is if you make an outstanding read and you got your man open, boom, it reduces the chances of the defender being able to warp over there and get in position. Great. But also, I hope it doesn't take away you making a great read and the defender, maybe even a user defender, happens to make a great read at the same time and he gets there. So I hope it doesn't nerf anything defensively, but at the same time, I hope it does nerf a warp situation when a user clicks on, because that happens way too much in Madden 20. So last but not least, man, it says we have a ton of additional information to share with you regarding new abilities coming in Madden 21, as well as more updates from the previous season that have been reimagined. And stay tuned for the upcoming news on Superstar X Factors in Madden 21. So there it is, guys. And man, we spent 1 hour and 6 minutes doing it. I got a pretty good crowd here tonight, man. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Let me cut this off now. Y'all can see my ugly mug again. Before I give you my quick thoughts, and I'm going to be very, very quick, just to throw you guys a nugget. I said this on the Sim Standard podcast last week, I think. Again, the benefits that I've had, man, with being a game changer is bittersweet sometimes, because there's things that you get to see that are developed and sometimes they never make it in the game. And when you sign an NDA for that particular year, anything you hear, you kind of have to keep in the tuck, especially if it hasn't come to fruition. So it sucks because I can't share certain information, and I'm like, man, if they would have just, I can only talk about that with those who were there with me. But the sweet part is you are able to, I have learned over, since 2012, exactly how things work from a development standpoint, an engineering standpoint, and a corporate standpoint, meaning those guys upstairs. There's a lot of things that get shut down, man. There's a lot of things that get stripped out. There's a lot of things that get the old not this year treatment. And this is the reason why I always stand up for the devs, because I know that fight. Again, before I give you guys the nugget, I will always hold them accountable for anything they produce. All of this stuff that I read here tonight, fam, I got to hold y'all to the fire. You know, I texted my boy A-Dub tonight, was like, hey, I see you with them zone drops. We had a little text conversation. Actually, I got to reply back to him now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I got to hold y'all accountable for all of this stuff that I read here tonight. This stuff needs to come into fruition. Now, is things going to be perfect? I expect not. But hopefully, the beta, for you guys that have opportunity to get into the beta, hopefully we can provide that feedback, and throughout the cycle, do not change stuff to make it easy. Stick to your script. And I know sometimes the pressure comes from up top, but listen, man, you have to stick with the idea that you have in mind. Everything that I read here tonight are great ideas in principle. Now, I know there's going to be people that say, oh, it ain't enough. Listen, man, at the end of the day, we know Madden is behind in a lot of areas, both gameplay and franchise. But knowing that, it's not going to get every single thing that you want in one cycle. That just ain't going to happen. As long as you just keep giving and keep going in the direction that the community wants you to go in and introducing things that we can all say, oh, great. As far as franchise, like I said, man, I've been doing this long enough. It wasn't in that first blog. I have a feeling we're not going to see anything changed. But here, the nugget, almost forgot. I said all that to say this. The pass rush move stuff that's in Madden 21, This stuff was supposed to come in which one was it? Madden 18. I will say this though. What was in the game at that time, what was supposed to be coming out that year and it got removed, was being able to have the dedicated pass rush moves. And I don't think I'm under any, any violation of the NDA because the feature is out there. What wasn't there though, it wasn't on the right stick back then. So I don't know if if they just they waited to get back to it when they could really do it better. Because these moves and all of that were still button press moves. So maybe the idea was when it got stripped out, obviously the reason why it got stripped out in that year is they just didn't have the capacity to finish it. That was the Frostbite integration, as well as long shot. Don't get me started. And all I know is when the game was presented to us, that was one of the feature sets. Later on, a few months later, I checked back in with the devs. Was like, yo, I got some ideas for. Oh, we forgot to tell you, man. We couldn't finish it. I was like, are you serious? And that's one of the things that you guys have heard me say for months and even years. One day there's gonna be a feature that's gonna come, and I'm gonna tell y'all, man, that's one of them. But there are more. There are more. And as they start coming out, if they do, I'll come back to y'all again and say, yep. I remember seeing that for Madden such and such. Never came out. Here now. But all in all, this is the last thing I really got to say, man. It's hard for me to give my thoughts on just paper. On paper, sounds great. We've been in this position too many times where everything sounds great. And then a lot of times when the game launches, you have more positivity. Remember, for the last couple of years, people were pretty cool. Then a month or two later, here they go getting the patching. So that's the only thing I would urge them to do. If this stuff is working and it's crispy and they've actually been able to accomplish what they're telling us in the blog, don't go fooling with it. So again, I'm cautiously optimistic. I like what was presented. I don't have a beef. I don't think I have a beef with any of the gameplay features. I'll read back through them again, let it digest a little bit. However, it's going to come down to how the game actually plays. So for anybody who sat here with me for an hour and 12 minutes, I don't want to hear, the comments that's going to come up. Oh, man, they ain't going to do that. He sounds like no. Don't lose sight of these words. I don't know how good or how bad this will be until I see it in game. On paper, fist pump. But it might not even be that. Because like I said, things that I'm still looking for in Madden 21 is player interactions. Are they more one-to-one? Is user control always in my fingertips? Right? Is physics more prevalent? Does physics dictate more things on the field? Are those two, the two-man animations, are they still there as far as DB and wideouts? And if they are there, are they egregious? I always say that word, man. I laugh every time Stephen A says it. It sounds hilarious. But are they still so so warpy? You understand what I'm saying? That the user control goes out the window. Those are the things I'm going to look for. And I will say this as well. I'm really going to be looking for these things come next level. Because I have a sneaky suspicion that, let me say this and then we'll get out of here. You notice in the footage that they showed, you looked at the sidelines, they look pretty much the same. But this is why I think that the next level might actually be next level this time. I think they're actually going to leverage that and try to promote, no, but you're going to see an upgrade in the next level product. So it's no surprise to me that the current Madden 21 that's going to be on current generation, sidelines still look the same. Because think about it. Isn't that a sneaky way for you to make it seem like you've improved your game? Follow where I'm going here, guys. This is business. I don't know this to be fact, but this is just how sometimes corporate business works. They haven't given us the living world to the degree we've wanted it since Madden 25, right? Now here's an opportunity for you to come in swinging. You know what happened. If you go all the way back to Madden 06, I ain't even going to go there. We know what happened there. But let's say more recent. You know you didn't deliver everything that you campaigned or marketed for Madden 25. Living world, sidelines, crap, you didn't deliver it to the degree that you were up there on the stage making it sound like. Now here's your opportunity to rebound. And that's the reason why a small part of me believes that the next level Madden might actually be what they're saying. I actually believe it because I don't think that you can afford to have a repeat of Madden 25 going into the Ignite engine. And I'm going to stand on that ledge. I'm going to get on that ledge like this by myself. I'm going to stand on the ledge. Because if it actually turns out to be next level, I want y'all to come back and say, yo, man, Sim said it. Now, deep down in my heart, I feel like most of y'all, man, it's going to be a disappointment. But I'm going to stand on the ledge and say, I don't know, man. Something feels a little different about not the way they're marketing. It's the same. Me and Smitty broke that down last week. But I don't think they can afford to do that again. Nah. And that's why don't expect to see anything change presentation-wise on this one. Don't expect that. If anything, that's going to be in the next one. That's going to be in the one that you get with next gen. That's why you're going to be able to get the dual entitlement and watch. I hope I'm right. And if I'm not, we're going to tear it up just like we do every week. But all right, man, I'm going to get out of here. Let me look at 2 or 3 comments here. What's up, Mo? My man Mo. Mo been creeping into my streams lately, too. He's been watching me play NCAA. I got to give you credit, Mo. Mo did say, man, make sure you guys tune in for, the deep dive. I ain't going to lie. The way the presentation, they did all right. They did good. Everything that was mentioned, I like. But again, it's going to come down to how everything plays. That's really how it's going to come down. Oh, last thing. Man, I wish the beta would have been available today. Oh. And I hope you guys are able to get into it. I did happen to fill it out. I happened to be watching that last stream, and I did fill out that registration. I would assume that I probably would get a beta code anyway. I would assume. But I did fill that out, so I should be on the list. I hope that they do a situation like last year where they give, some of us some beta codes to give away. That would be great. I would love to be able to give some of you guys the opportunity to, play the game and give your feedback as well. But that's it, man. Smitty said, henceforth, it's called the optimized version. Yeah, man. It's going to be interesting, Smitty. It's going to be interesting. But I appreciate you guys tuning in, man. I got to run. Held it down tonight, man, for Smitty, and we'll be back. We'll be back next week. We definitely still want to chop it up because, it's always great when we're both going back and forth and we kind of see things the same, but then see some things a little differently, and it sparks dialogue. So I can't wait for that. And again, since I went ahead and did this tonight, that will give us more room next week to open the calls up and just let people call in. Because by that time, with me and Smitty will just do a quick summarize. And then boom, and who knows, maybe a beta will be out by then. But all right, man, if y'all haven't already, make sure you do this right here. Never mind, it didn't work. Hold on. I had to reset this. There it is. Make sure y'all do this for me, man. Like button, subscribe, cut on your notification. That's all I ask you to do, man. Just look out for your boy. But outside of that, I hope everybody has a good night. Be safe. That thing is still out there and it's getting crazy in certain states, man. So just be responsible. Be safe. Be responsible. And I hope everybody is well. And my camera just died. The DSLR just kicked me off. So it's time for me to go. Y'all be good. Stay safe. Have a great weekend. God bless. And good night. Peace.